Good day everyone. Today I am presenting my 3D computer graphic project developed in OpenGL. The theme for this task is a playground and I have designed an interactive animated 3D metallic swing set within a realistic outdoor environment. To bring this into real life, I replaced the default background with a clear blue sky color using GL clear color. Directly underneath the swing, I construct a vast grass field. The field is created using a custom sided polygon, a quadrilateral, defined in the code using GL quotes. To make the environment look realistic under our active light source, I apply a matte free material property and a vertical normal vector, so the grass diffuse light naturally without looking unnaturally shiny like metal. And then look at the construction of the swing itself. It combines a variety of geometric shapes and polygons. The main frame consisting of the top crossbar and two vertical support pillars, and built using the blue cylinder quadrants. I also lengthened the hanger ropes to a value of 1.5 units to give the swing a more realistic and elongated look. These cylinders are automatically generated by sewing together dozens of small rectangular polygons into a smooth circular mesh, which I store with a high shininess metallic material to resemble polished chrome. The swing set is a flat 3D block rendered via good solid cube, which is inherently composed of 6 individual rectangular face polygons. Uh, the swing uses a hierarchical model by utilizing OpenGL's metric stack with GL push metric and GL pop metrics. The ropes and the seat are bound together under a single pivot point at the top crossbar. This ensures that whenever the ropes move, the seat follows perfectly without detaching. And then for the transformation, animation, and perspective, I implemented interactive transformation to animate the scene. The entire work can be manipulated in real time. The arrow keys handle global translation to move the swing set around the screen, while the T and G keys control global scaling to let us zoom in and zoom out. For the swing's animation, I upgrade it to the support full 3D dual axis rotation. By pressing R and F keys, the user can swing it left and right along the Z axis. By pressing W and S, the swing moves dynamically front and back along the X axis. To make this 3D movement clearly visible, I set up a realistic perspective projection using glue perspective and use glue look at to tilt the camera down by 15 degrees, and the specific camera angle provided through the um, perception, allowing us to see the swing arc through the air relative to the grass field and the sky concept. That's all for me. Thank you.
Alright, so for part 2, we'll be explaining on how we make our traditional, how we model our traditional Melaka house. So, uh, so my task is to make the rough modeling, and then we have Ika for details modeling, and then lighting and texturing by Kena and Najwa. So, let's look. First, this is our rough modeling. So, we use this image for our reference. The base house is originally made using the primitive cube primitive. So how I made this into the house, as you can see here, is is that before I show you is that this house uses the mirror modifier. So any changes I make will affect also on the particular axis that I set. So if I make a change, for example, let's say if I move these vertices, the the side will also reflect the changes that I made. So the way I did this house is by first, okay, we'll select the cube first, and then remove using G, and then press Z to line on the Z axis, and then for the roof, we select these two side vertices, and then extend, press E and then Y, so we will extend it to extend the roof. So save, press E and then Y, and that will be our. The next step is using the reference image. We make the pillars. So I make the pillars using the cube modifier. So by using the image reference, we insert a new cube primitive, and then we resize it according to the reference. So the way we do it is by scale. Then select this vertices, press G and then Y, and there we go. And then we make it and we remove this part, and then we make it in. So from there we will got our pillar. So we duplicate this object, we move here, and then we repeat the same process, and we have the pillars. And then we move on to the veranda, where we add a series of rows. So these pillars, there are three additional pillars that is separated. After that, we have the roof, which is the plain primitive, which also reflects on the other side. So this plane also uses the mirror modifier, and then uh, applied and separated, so it will be a two different plane, and then it was connected to this plane. And lastly, we make the base of the house. We use the cube primitive, subdivide it, and then cut out the parts that is not needed. So that is how I make the rough modeling for our group project.
Is the window similar to the door. I use the cube primitives to build the window frames. I resize each cube using the scale tool and position them on the wall with the moving tool. I duplicated the window components where necessary to keep the design consistent and to save modeling time. For the windows, I use the inset to create the frame so that we have a nice frame, and then I extrude it a bit so it creates a nice window model. Next, I created the stairs also using the cube primitives and model each stairs by scaling and positioning them to form a staircase leading to the entrance. This process was quite easy as it is just scaling down the cubes. Next, for the veranda, I use cubes to create the platform and the railings. I scaled down the railings into thin cube, and then I duplicated the railings, posed to maintain equal spacing and a consistent appearance between them. Environment, I created the ground using also cube, and then I scale it down and make it a really thin flat ground to provide as a base, and then to make the environment looks less empty, I added bushes using UV sphere primitives. I modified their shapes by scaling down to create a simple low poly landscape, then complements the house without making the scene overly complex. The first part I worked on was the door. I started using a cube primitive as the base object. Then I used the scale tool, adjust its height, width, and thickness so it matched the proportions of a traditional Malacca house door. After that, I used the moving tool to position it correctly at the entrance of the house. Although the shape is simple, it helps complete the overall structure of the building. We did a really simple animation, which is we added the keyframes on the first frame, and then on the 122nd frame, and then between that keyframe, we use the move camera to create a little panning animation. So the view go from right to left.
Moving on to onto the visual style. So I focus on image-based texturing instead of using complex procedural shader. I choose these approaches to achieve a more tangible and authentic look. I utilize the principal BSDF node, the industry standard in Blender, to manage material properties. To ensure high quality results, I sourced my texture from the professional website that specialize in providing high resolution materials assets. So I mapped this external image file specifically realistic wood, grain, and weather roof materials directly onto my primitive mesh. This allowed the house to inherit intricate surface details and natural color variation that are difficult to replicate mathematically. This material contrast helped the audience immediately differentiate between the wooden structure and the roofing, adding a significant layer of realism to the model. Okay, as we look here, I choose the mesh, and then after that I go to the property besides, and then has a base color, so we need to change base color into the image texture, and then after that the file is open, so we need to choose the texturing for the veranda, and then after that texturing. So this is how it looks like at the final output. Thank you.